I now recognize Representative John James, the gentleman from Michigan. Mr. James served our nation in the United States Army for 8 years and continues his service as a dedicated advocate for Michigan's 10th District. This is his second time testifying before the Ways and Means Committee. Welcome back, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your time. I'll just cut right to the chase. Let's not get it twisted. Every single Democrat is going to vote against this tax package. And I fear that our Republican colleagues are being played for their fools. Giving carte blanche to blue state governors to continue to enact laws and regulations that will hurt their people and increase with perverse incentives to do the right things is not necessarily what we should be doing. There are Republicans, our very good friends and colleagues, D'Esposito, Molinaro, Garcia, and Steele, who are at home right now, who made the same SALT argument. And for the remaining 5 of our very dear colleagues who are pushing very hard for the SALT cap raising, for the increase in cost of $225 billion over the next decade, that's $45 billion per seat. How much are we willing to pay for a seat? We need to ask ourselves this question: are we willing to pay for certain things at the expense of the rest of America? I think that we have a number of things that would benefit all Americans, regardless of where we live, and that is where I would like to focus today, Mr. Chairman. It's great to be back here in the 119th Congress, and I believe that we have to make sure that we ensure that many avenues of prosperity. The best avenue of prosperity is through education. I particularly want to highlight this Path to Prosperity through the Educational Choice for Children Act, legislation intended to expand education freedom and opportunity for students, and I appreciate our colleague from Nebraska, Mr. Adrian Smith, for leading on these efforts. And I look forward to working with all my colleagues in these months ahead to get this bill for consideration on the House floor. We must continue to prioritize reforms to education that expand choice, and the best way to do that is to put parents back in the driver's seat. I believe firmly that when you give parents choice, you give students a chance. In addition, I believe the child tax credit, a responsible approach to addressing the provisions in the Inflation Reduction Act, must also be a part of this important debate on how we restore economic prosperity here in America. Again, a much better use of money for all Americans than just a few on the coast. My bill from the 118th Congress, Reignite Hope Act, would increase the child tax credit from $4,500 for each child from 0 to 5 and $3,500 for each child 6 to 17. After 4 years of reckless federal spending and terrible economic policies out of the Biden-Harris administration, parents in my district and districts all over the country are pleading for some relief. They've paid upwards of $6 for gas, $10 for a dozen eggs, and $7 for milk. Now more than ever, parents across the country deserve relief, proven relief. The child tax credit works. Lastly, everyone in this room knows there are a multitude of concerns about IRA. I share those concerns. The IRA, which did exactly the opposite of its name, was a radical attempt to institute the left-wing wish list of the Green New Deal agenda. EV mandates, which have already cost thousands of good-paying jobs in Michigan, removed consumer choice from the free market and made us reliant on China, enabled child slave labor in the Congo, and widely prevalent EV supply chain risks. I'm thrilled that the House, along with President Trump, have made the elimination of job-killing EV mandates a priority. As I led the EV CRA last Congress, we're going to redouble those efforts. And I would like to echo the comments of my great friend and colleague, Rep. Houchin, when she mentioned we have to go at this with a scalpel and not a chainsaw. I ask that we proceed with caution when looking to address the provisions of the IRA that have incentivized onshoring the future of automotive jobs, manufacturing, and increasing our capacity. I do believe that history will show the United States government does have a role in increasing capacity and our ability to bring economic prosperity to our people and to defend ourselves through our manufacturing prowess. While the bulk of the IRA is damaging policy, we must not neglect the sector-wide energy tax provisions that manufacturers and job creators rely on in my district and around the country. Additionally, it's critical that we continue to manufacture and assemble semiconductor chips here in America. We cannot rely on our foreign adversaries to produce and manufacture our means of self-defense and survival. We can and we must repatriate American jobs, reinvigorate manufacturing golden age in this country while mitigating the national security risk. If we continue to assemble semiconductor chips here in America, we will be in a much better position. I encourage this committee to continue to consider addressing provisions from past legislation regarding our chip supply chain. We have to walk and chew gum at the same time, Mr. Chairman, and I'm confident with your leadership we will. I appreciate the time here to speak today, and I want to say a particular thank you for working with your staff. We are working on a way that we can help in a conservative